In the year 1969, across the immense, frozen expanse of Siberia, the land itself seemed to hold its breath. Here, in the Kemerovo region, near the remote village of Rozhavchik, history is measured not in decades, but in geologic time. Deep beneath this unforgiving surface, men toiled in the suffocating darkness of a coal mine. Their lives a relentless rhythm of drilling and blasting, chipping away at the earth's black marrow. On an otherwise unremarkable day in early September, that rhythm was broken. A miner's pickaxe, striking the coal face over 230 feet down, produced a sound that did not belong. Not the familiar thud of steel on carbon, but a hollow, resonant clang, an acoustic anomaly in the heart of the solid rock. Work stopped. A dissonant note had been struck in the deep earth symphony, and curiosity, a force more powerful than caution, took hold. The crew, led by their foreman, Alexander Masaligin, began to carefully clear away the debris. What they uncovered was not a natural fissure or a gas pocket, but something impossibly artificial. A void, a chamber meticulously crafted that had no right to exist at such a crushing depth. Breaking through the final barrier, the beams of their lamps sliced through an atmosphere untouched for an eternity, revealing a sight that defied all logic. There, at the chamber's heart, rested a monument of profound mystery, a sarcophagus. It was massive, measuring nearly 8.5 feet in length and 3 feet in height, carved from a single block of pristine marble. Its craftsmanship was exquisite. Its presence in a coal seam formed hundreds of millions of years ago, an utter paradox. Masaligin, recognizing the gravity of the find, ordered the work halted and alerted the authorities. The decision was made to bring the sarcophagus to the surface. As it was carefully hoisted from its ancient tomb onto the miners' hands, the seal gave way. Driven by an irresistible impulse, they lifted the heavy marble lid. What lay within was not treasure, not gold, not the bones of some forgotten king. It was a woman. She appeared to be in her late 20s, her features distinctly Slavic, her beauty breathtakingly intact. She was submerged in a clear, pinkish-blue liquid, her body showing no signs of decay. Her dark, braided hair lay perfectly arranged. Her wide, blue eyes were open, staring into a darkness that had lasted for ages. She wore... Within hours, the quiet village was swarming. A helicopter descended, disgorging officials in civilian clothes and high-ranking military officers. The area was cordoned off. The sarcophagus and its silent occupant were confiscated, loaded onto the aircraft, and flown to an unknown destination. The witnesses were ordered to forget what they saw. The official record is silent. The story of the Tisul princess, as she came to be known, exists now only in the whispers of those who were there, a modern myth born from a Siberian coal mine. It serves as a chilling reminder that the foundations of our history are perhaps not carved in stone, but written on a page that could be torn out at any moment. For what else lies sleeping in the deep places of the world, waiting for one stray sound to awaken a truth our civilization is not yet ready to face? In the remote Kemerovo region of Siberia, where the earth yields its black treasures through brute force, a team of coal miners unearthed something that did not belong. Buried more than 70 meters below the surface, far deeper than any known human burial, lay a perfectly crafted marble sarcophagus. Its discovery was an anomaly, a whisper from an impossible past. Word of the find traveled slowly, but the miners knew it find as its own, offering neither reward nor explanation. Fueled by a potent mix of raw curiosity and a deep-seated distrust of the powers that be, they made a fateful decision. They would unseal this mystery themselves. With heavy tools and heaving breaths, they pried open the lid. The air that escaped was not the stale scent of decay, but a strange, faintly floral aroma. What lay within defied all logic, shattering their expectations of gold or ancient relics. Submerged in a clear, pinkish liquid was the body of a woman. She appeared to be no older than 30, her features serene, as if in a deep and peaceful slumber. Her dark, wavy hair flowed around her, a cascade of chestnut in the ethereal fluid. She was dressed in a garment of translucent white ale, smoother and whiter than alabaster, her blue eyes wide open, yet seeing nothing. She seemed more alive, more vibrant than the rugged, soot-stained men who stared down at her in disbelief. Beside her head rested a small, black metal box, rectangular and seamless, its design utterly alien. It was the only other object in this pristine, timeless vessel. News of Thistle Princess, a name that lent a fairy tale quality to a profoundly unsettling event. Villagers flocked to the site, drawn by a morbid fascination to gaze upon the sleeping beauty from another age. In the chaotic excitement, one local man, perhaps emboldened by the crowd, committed a fatal act of foolishness. He dipped his finger into the strange pink liquid and, for reasons lost to history, tasted it. The fluid was odorless and without flavor, but its effect was insidious. Within a week, his mind began to unravel. He grew disoriented, lost his memory, and was found wandering in the snow, unable to recognize his own home. He tragically froze to death in the unforgiving Siberian winter, a grim warning of the unknown forces at play. The incident acted as a catalyst. Soon the village was inundated, not by curious onlookers, but by uniformed authority. High-ranking officials, police, and military personnel descended, sealing off the entire area. Agents, believed to be from the KGB, moved with quiet, unnerving efficiency. The official explanation was the risk of a pathogenic contaminant, a potential ancient plague. But their meticulous, secretive actions suggested a far deeper concern. A helicopter was brought in to airlift the sarcophagus, but the stone casket proved impossibly heavy. The decision was then made to lighten the load by draining the mysterious pink fluid. As the liquid was pumped into containers, the onlookers witnessed a horrifying transformation. Before their very eyes, the woman's skin began to darken, her flesh timeless beauty vanishing as the life-sustaining liquid was removed. The sarcophagus and its now decaying contents were whisked away to a secret location. For weeks, an official silence descended upon the region. Then, a professor from Novosibirsk arrived in the village. He gathered the original witnesses and spoke of the initial findings. He confessed that their scientific analysis was hitting a wall. The materials of the sarcophagus, the strange liquid, the woman's dress, the black box, none of it conformed to any known element or compound. Standard carbon dating was useless, but more advanced experimental techniques had yielded a result so staggering, so utterly impossible, that it threatened to collapse the entire edifice of human history. The age of the Thistle Princess, they estimated, was approximately 800 million years. 800 million years. a time when the Earth was believed to be home only to the most primitive single-celled organisms. A time long before the dinosaurs, before the first fish swam in the oceans, before the Cambrian explosion of life itself. The implications were terrifying. This was not an ancestor of humanity. This was something else entirely. The story of the Tisul princess, once a local legend, became a forbidden piece of knowledge, a testament to a history we were never meant to discover. We are left to wonder if our timeline is a fragile, incomplete story, and what other truths lie buried beneath our feet, waiting for a moment of chance to rewrite not just a chapter, but the entire library of our existence. In the heart of Siberia, beneath a seam of coal, a discovery was unearthed that threatened to rewrite not just history, but the very laws of nature. It was a finding so profound, so utterly out of place, that it challenged the foundations of modern science. What emerged from the deep earth was not a fossil, not a tool, but a pristine marble sarcophagus. Inside, suspended in a clear, pinkish-blue liquid, lay the body of a woman. She was described as impossibly beautiful, her skin unusually pale, suggesting an origin from a world with far less sunlight than our own. The implications were staggering. Geologists dated the coal seam in which she was found to hundreds of millions of years old. This single, silent figure suggested the existence of a civilization with technology beyond our comprehension, flourishing in Earth's most distant, primordial past. Or, perhaps, it was something else entirely. The first tangible proof of visitors from another world. As whispers of the Tisul princess began to ripple through the nearby villages, the authorities moved with chilling speed. The official response was not one of scientific inquiry, but of immediate and total suppression. Newspapers that dared to print the story were confiscated from stands and homes. Those who spoke too loudly, who shared what they had seen, faced severe repercussions. The narrative was systematically dismantled, the evidence vanished, and the story was driven underground, silenced by powers who deemed it a truth too dangerous for the world to know. It faded from public view, relegated to the status of a whispered local legend. Decades passed, political winds shifted, and the iron grip of state control began to loosen. Only then, in this new era of openness, did the tale resurface in local media, pieced together from the fading memories of those who were there. Yet, with its return, the mystery only deepened. Near the village of Rjavchik, a memorial plaque now stands, a quiet testament to the event. It speaks of the beautiful young woman found in a marble tomb, buried in an age before the dinosaurs. Eyewitnesses from that time, now old, have come forward once more, their voices unwavering, reaffirming the authenticity of what they saw. But with each new revelation, a dozen more questions arise. Speculation continues to burn. Some believe the princess was a remnant of a hyper-advanced human civilization, lost to a cataclysm that scoured the planet clean. Her perfect preservation, a testament to technologies we have yet to even imagine. Others hold fast to the extraterrestrial theory, her existence the ultimate evidence of ancient astronauts who walked our planet when it was still young. Without the body, without the sarcophagus, without any concrete evidence, the truth remains tantalizingly, maddeningly elusive. This impulse to dismiss the impossible is a familiar pattern in our quest for origins. For a long time, it was held that the Neanderthals were stupid, primitive subhumans, shambling, brutish creatures incapable of symbolism or complex thought. We now know that is not true at all. They were artists, hunters, and thinkers. Their legacy is not just in the dust of caves, but written into our very cells. Certain populations in the world today still carry 3 to 5% of Neanderthal DNA, a living echo of a forgotten encounter. Tucked away in the rugged terrains of the Altai Mountains, where the borders of Russia, China, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan converge, lies another piece of this grand puzzle. Here, nestled in a landscape of breathtaking biodiversity and complex geology, is the Denisova Cave. This is no ordinary cavern. It is a treasure trove of human evolution, a library written in stone and bone. The mountains themselves are alive, a rich tapestry of plants and animals, a perfect backdrop for a story about the deep, tangled roots of our own family tree. The story of Denisova began to unfold in the 1970s, when Soviet scientists first explored its shadowy depths. At that time, their focus was on geology and the fossils of ancient animals, largely overlooking the cave's potential to unlock the secrets of our own past. They were looking for mammoths and woolly rhinos, not for lost cousins of humanity. Lenge our neat and tidy story of human evolution. And it was here, in this Siberian cave, that the first clue was found. Not a skeleton, but a fragment, a piece of a finger bone from a young girl. From that tiny relic, modern science achieved the impossible. An entire genome was sequenced, revealing a third, distinct branch of the human family. A ghost in our history, suddenly given form. The past, it seems, does not give up its dead easily. Some stories are buried by political will, surviving only in memory and monument. Others are buried by time itself, waiting for the right tools to bring them into the light. Whether in the unbelievable tale of a perfectly preserved woman from a lost epoch, or in the scientifically proven DNA of a new human species, the message is the same. We are a species with amnesia, living amongst the ruins and echoes of worlds we have forgotten. And the Earth itself is the ultimate keeper of secrets. In the heart of the Altai Mountains, a remote and unforgiving corner of Siberia, lies a silent sentinel of deep time, the Denisova Cave. Its name is a modern whisper, an echo of an 18th century hermit named Denis, who sought solace within its stone embrace, adding a thin veneer of recent human history to its truly ancient walls. For decades, its intricate network of chambers and galleries hinted at a profound story. Archaeologists sensed it in the layered earth, a tale of long-term habitation, of lives lived and lost, waiting just beneath the surface for the right moment to be told. That moment arrived in the year 2008. Amidst the patient sifting of sediment, a discovery was made. It was not a grand tool, nor a dramatic cave painting, but something far smaller, almost insignificant. A single, unassuming fragment of a finger bone. A pinky bone from the hand of a child. It was a find that could have easily been overlooked, yet it was destined to rewrite the very saga of human origins. When scientists in a distant laboratory sequenced the DNA preserved within that tiny fossil, the results were staggering. The genetic code did not belong to a Neanderthal, our familiar heavy-browed cousin, nor did it match the profile of an anatomically modern human, our own direct ancestor. This was something else entirely. A ghost in the human family tree. A shadow lineage previously unknown to science. They were named for the cave that had held their secret for so long. The Denisovans. Suddenly, this isolated Siberian cave was thrust onto the world stage. It was no longer just a site of regional interest. It was a window into a lost world, a world populated by more kinds of humans than we had ever dared to imagine. Further excavation revealed the cave's true nature. Its floor was a dense archive, a rich stratigraphy proving it had been a bustling crossroads for tens of thousands of years. Neanderthals had been here, modern humans had been here, and for millennia it was a stronghold for the Denisovans. The allure of Denisova is magnified by its sheer inaccessibility. Nestled in a landscape sculpted by brutal climatic conditions, reaching it is an expedition in itself. The biting Siberian winds and the crushing weight of winter add a profound layer of challenge for the researchers who journey here from across the globe. Yet it is precisely this harshness, this isolation, that has so perfectly preserved the secrets within its chambers. Every expedition, every carefully excavated layer brings us closer, not only to understanding the Denisovans, but to grasping the true, complex narrative of our shared human story. Genetically, the Denisovans are an enigma. Their DNA tells a story of a deep past, a divergence from the Neanderthal line approximately 400,000 years ago, enriching the sprawling human epic of the Pleistocene era. But of this entire branch of humanity is painted from the sparest of clues: that first finger bone, a few powerful molar teeth, and a fragment of a skull. These pieces, though few, are telling. They are robust, suggesting a people powerfully built, well-equipped for survival in the unforgiving landscapes of Pleistocene Asia. But here, the story takes a turn that resonates within our very cells. The Denisovans did not simply live, survive, and vanish. They met our ancestors, and in those ancient encounters, they left an indelible legacy, a genetic echo that persists in modern populations today. The clean lines we once drew between ancient human groups have dissolved into a far more intricate and interwoven tapestry. Analysis of modern human genomes reveals this lost chapter of interbreeding. Certain populations, particularly in Asia and Oceania, carry a tangible piece of the Denisovan past. The indigenous peoples of Melanesia, including those in Papua New Guinea, carry up to 5% of their DNA from these enigmatic ancestors. This is not a theoretical trace, it is a substantial genetic inheritance, a ghost living on in the biology of the present. It tells us that our ancestors' world was far more complex than a simple story of replacement. They met, they mingled, and they interbred. The very notion that one could not interbreed with another species is challenged by this reality. They were not other. They were, unequivocally, part of the sprawling, diverse family of humanity. The story of humanity is not a straight line, but a braided river, with streams that converge, flow together for a time, and then diverge once more. The Denisova Cave is not just a place of bones and stones, it is a monument to this complexity. It reminds us that our own existence is a mosaic, pieced together from the legacies of peoples we are only just beginning to know, their stories waiting in the dark earth, ready to change everything we thought we knew about ourselves. In the remote fastness of the Altai Mountains, a cave whispers a story that has rewritten the epic of humanity. Here, in the layered earth of Denisova, a discovery was made, not of a grand skeleton, but of a fragment so small it could be lost in the palm of a hand, the tip of a child's little finger. For a time, it was just another fossil, but locked within its ancient cells was a code, a genetic blueprint that would unravel everything we thought we knew about our own past. When scientists sequenced its DNA, they found it belonged to neither a modern human nor a Neanderthal. They had stumbled upon a third branch of the human family tree, a ghost lineage we now call the Denisovans. This single discovery cracked open a new chapter in our origins. The Denisovan genome revealed a world of breathtaking complexity, a time when our planet was home to a mosaic of different human species. And they were not strangers to one another. Their genetic legacy tells a story of encounters and unions, of lineages intertwining across the vastness of Ice Age Eurasia. We now know that Denisovans mixed not only with our direct ancestors, Homo sapiens, but also extensively with the Neanderthals. Their DNA even hints at a fourth, phantom population, a human group so ancient and mysterious that we have no name for it, no fossils to hold, only its spectral echo preserved in the Denisovan code. But who were these people? Beyond their genes, excavators have unearthed artifacts of astonishing sophistication. Stone tools of a type previously associated only with modern humans. A delicate bone needle, polished and sharp, implying the creation of tailored clothing to survive the Siberian cold. And, most remarkably, jewelry. Beads carved from mammoth ivory, a bracelet of polished green stone, drilled with a precision that seems impossible for its time. These are not the crude implements of a primitive brute. They are the expressions of a mind capable of symbolism, of artistry, of an appreciation for beauty. They suggest a culture as rich and complex as any that existed on Earth 50,000 years ago, fundamentally challenging our long-held prejudices about our archaic relatives. For all we have learned, the Denisovans themselves remain phantoms on the stage of prehistory. We have their genetic footprint, scattered across the genomes of modern populations from Asia to Oceania, and a handful of fossil fragments. We are piecing together a jigsaw puzzle, with most of the pieces still missing, guided by the faint outline their DNA has left behind. Each new sequence is a treasure trove, a promise that more of their story is waiting to be unlocked from the silent language of the genome. From these mountains of southern Siberia, our journey takes us thousands of kilometers eastward, deeper into a continent of extremes. We travel to the Sakha Republic, a territory within Yakutia, known for the most punishing temperature swings on the planet. Here, tucked away in the vast, unforgiving taiga, lies a place whispered about in local legend. A place known by a name as ominous as the landscape itself. The Uliu Cherkechek, the Valley of Death. It is a wilderness of profound isolation, where the ground is locked in permafrost and the silence is broken only by the wind. What sets this valley apart are the anomalies, the strange and inexplicable structures that litter its terrain. Local accounts, passed down through generations of the Yakut people, speak of great metallic cauldrons, half buried in the frozen earth. They are described as smooth, reddish hemispheres, easy for a person to ride a reindeer underneath, with razor-sharp edges and an unnatural warmth. Getting to this place is an expedition in itself, a battle against a wildly inhospitable climate that swings from scorching summers to winters so brutal they can freeze a person's breath in the air. This remoteness has shrouded the valley and its metallic mysteries in a veil of secrecy. The folklore of the Yakut people adds a chilling layer to the enigma. Their stories are not of treasures, but of warnings. They speak of a strange sickness that befalls those who linger too long near the cauldrons, of a malevolent energy that drains the life from living things. Legends claim these structures wield an unknown power, a protective field that has defended the land from cosmic impacts in the distant past. While science demands evidence, these stories, woven into the very fabric of the culture, remain as persistent and haunting as the landscape itself, the unverified whispers of a people who have lived alongside a profound mystery for centuries. Scientists, when they can reach this inaccessible land, offer theories grounded in the known world. Perhaps these are the remnants of meteorite impacts, the fused and twisted metal of extraterrestrial visitors from deep space. Or maybe they are a rare geological phenomenon, the result of cryovolcanism, or the formation of massive pingos, earthen hills with cores of ice. Yet none of these explanations fully accounts for the uniformity, the metallic nature, and the strange effects described in the local tales. The truth remains buried, locked away in a land that does not give up its secrets easily. From a sliver of bone in a mountain cave to metallic domes in a frozen valley, the Siberian wilderness confronts us with the sheer scale of our own ignorance. It is a land that holds the keys to two of our deepest questions. One buried in the intimate code of our own cells, the other exposed on the surface of the earth, yet just as inscrutable. We are a species defined by our search for answers, yet the most profound discoveries often reveal only the vastness of what we do not know. The earth, it seems, is a library of forgotten histories, and we have only just begun to learn how to read its pages. In the vast, sleeping expanse of Siberia, a silence reigns, ancient and profound. Here, history is not measured in decades, but in millennia, written into the permafrost and whispered on the winds that scour the taiga. This is a land that guards its secrets jealously, and none are more compelling than those held within a remote region known to legend as the Valley of Death. Some look to the heavens for an explanation, pointing to Siberia's violent history with celestial intruders. They see echoes of a cosmic bombardment, a long and brutal dialogue between this patch of earth and the void. Others turn their gaze inward, toward the deep past, speculating on the works of ancient humans, or perhaps a civilization entirely lost to time, whose only remaining legacy is a collection of inscrutable and disturbing artifacts. But to seek answers here is to confront the land itself, the brutal, unforgiving climate, the profound isolation, and a near-total absence of infrastructure conspire to defeat all but the most determined efforts. Sustained research becomes a monumental challenge, a battle against the elements as much as an intellectual pursuit. This scarcity of empirical data has allowed the legends to flourish, creating a tantalizing mystery where fact and folklore are woven into a single, inseparable tapestry. This shroud of enigma draws not only scientists, but historians, paranormal enthusiasts, and intrepid adventurers, all lured by the irresistible promise of uncovering a fragment of Siberia's uncharted past. Of all the events that scar this landscape, one stands alone in its sheer, terrifying magnitude. On the morning of June 30th, 1908, near the Podkamenya Tunguska River, the sky was torn apart. Eyewitnesses spoke of a brilliant blue light, a second sun that blazed Heard windows hundreds of kilometers away. The force of the subsequent explosion was beyond comprehension. In an instant, a blast estimated to be 1,000 times mightier than the atomic weapon that would later scar Hiroshima flattened 80 million trees across an area of 250 square kilometers. The shock waves rippled through the planet itself, detected by seismographs as far away as 2,000 kilometers. It would be nearly 2 decades before the first scientific expedition, led by the Russian mineralogist Leonid Kulik, penetrated this remote wilderness in 1927. Kulik, driven by the conviction that he would find the impact crater of a colossal meteorite, was met with a scene of profound and baffling devastation. He found a ghost forest, a sea of fallen timber, with the trees splayed out freebeen. There was nothing. The ground was scarred, but unbroken. The prevailing theory today holds that a small asteroid or a fragment of a comet, perhaps 60 meters across, disintegrated in the atmosphere. It never struck the ground, but instead exploded between 5 and 10 kilometers above the taiga, unleashing the force of 15 megatons of TNT upon the silent forest below. Yet, the absence of a definitive crater has kept the door open to other, more exotic hypotheses. Whispers emerge from the fringes of scientific thought. A catastrophic eruption of natural gas from deep within the Earth's crust, or even more fantastic notions involving encounters with antimatter or a miniature black hole. The aftermath was not merely a scar on the landscape. The event triggered significant environmental changes, accelerating tree growth in the affected zone and, according to some reports, causing genetic mutations in local, contributing to measurable changes in the global atmo. As our methods of exploration advance, we may one day pull back the veil on these Siberian enigmas. But until then, the great northern wilderness remains one of Earth's most captivating frontiers, a place where history, legend, and the raw power of the cosmos converge. It serves as a humbling reminder that, for all our knowledge, there are still places where the land holds its silence and the past does not give up its dead. For nights afterward, an ethereal glow settled over the skies. Newly formed noctilucent clouds shimmered across the northern hemisphere as a strange atmospheric veil dimmed the summer sun over Europe and Asia. But in the vacuum of a clear explanation, a different kind of energy was unleashed: the power of human imagination. This void was soon filled by feverish speculation: the crash of an alien vessel, the disastrous test of a secret weapon, a collision with a fragment of antimatter. Despite more than a century of investigation, the Tunguska event persists as one of the 20th century's most profound enigmas. It remains a scar upon the remote Siberian taiga, a testament to a cosmic power we have yet to fully comprehend, and to the enduring mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of our world.